So be focused on what is happening in the field of business, what is happening in the field of economy, what is happening in society in terms of markets, in terms of consumption habits, in terms of the trends in the society. Why? Because that will enable you to create a brighter future for yourself and for the world. Every day you might be reading in the newspaper, there is a word coming, IPO. Do you know what is IPO? IPO means initial public offerings. When a new company launches its equity shares in the market, then it is called IPO. I hope all of you might be knowing about it. If you are not aware, you should know, because this is the right time. In fact, we should train our students from school onwards about fundamentals of investment, fundamentals of savings, fundamentals of business, fundamentals of economy, fundamentals of corporate world. We should start training them from childhood. We have to give our students dreams about the corporate world, dreams about these things. Right now, they have no dreams for the corporate world. If the students are spending most of the time on video games, which are primarily crime based games, because they are full of crimes, full of violence, full of fights. What kind of dreams are you creating? What kind of dreams are you creating among these young children? If you create better dreams, you create a better future. If you create better dreams among the children, you can guarantee a great future for yourself. When you see a small child of class 5th, 6th actively engaged in playing a video game involving crime, involving shooting, involving violence, where are we going to take our future? Where are we going to take our future? If you open a newspaper, the first page is, half of the page is almost crime reporting. The second page is all about, leave all these pages. First page, second page, third page, leave all these pages. Come to the business page, which might be the second last page. Business page and sports page. These two pages are something in which you should be interested. What do you do in business news, business page? You open the business page, start reading it. Yes, you should read only business page, because the first page is almost crime reporting. I do not know why. Almost the entire first page, third page, these are crime reporting. I mean, I do not know. The journalists are all busy in reporting only crimes. While there are so many things, great things happening, there is no reporting of them. So that's why I'm suggesting you read two pages. One is business page, one is sports page. So when you open the business page, what do you find? The moment you open the business page, is the news. This company has gone for IPO. So my question is, what is IPO?
Good morning,
Initial
sir.
public offerings. And then once you know about IPO, then prepare your mind. Someday you will have to bring IPO. So let us understand, what is this? What is this world? What is this newspaper talking about? What is this newspaper mentioning about? We have to prepare our young generation, the students, school students. We have to give them dreams. to become corporate leaders, social leaders, philanthropists. We have to give them dreams and we have to give them stories of these people. We have to tell them right stories so that they can start imagining themselves in that framework. So what kind of dreams should we talk to the students? If you are talking to a student of a school and you have to narrate some story, which story would you like to narrate? Which type of stories would you like to narrate? That will be very important. If you narrate stories on those people who are criminals, who are involved in crimes, or who are involved in violence, what will you do? Will you be also be contributing to creating a violent world? If you think about a beautiful world, you are also contributing to creation of a beautiful world. Therefore, what should you do? If you have to create a brighter future, you have to first imagine that. If you have to create an excellent future, you have to first of all imagine that. So what should you do? Prepare yourself, become aware, start reading business newspaper, sports newspaper, read about important terms. You might not be aware about those terms. For example, IPO. You are not aware of IPO. No problem. Search on Google, you will find the meaning of IPO. There are plenty of websites which are on business terms. See those websites and find out the meaning of this word. Still, if it is not clear, discuss with somebody. Ask, what is this IPO? How does it happen? This is the new era. In this era, we have seen the emergence and growth of big companies. And it should be the dream of every one of you to create one such big company in your career. So how do you create a new company? You also have to bring an IPO, but how will you bring IPO? So before IPO, what are the steps? In very simple terms, I will explain these steps. The first step is preparation of a business plan. Business plan means which product would you like to offer? Which services you would like to offer? Then how will you develop them, or how will you undertake their delivery? Will you produce yourself, or will you buy from somebody else and undertake required value addition? How will you ensure that you are able to match with the customer? Every business is essentially a support to the society. Business exists because there is some gap between demand and supply. Society is expecting something, willing to get something that is not available. Business emerges, it provides those products and services. The needs of the society are met by the business by offering quality products so that the customers feel satisfied. Business has to focus on customer satisfaction, customer delight. A satisfied customer will again come. A satisfied customer will bring another 10 customers. And this is how the rotation of money continues. You start a business to help the society, help your customers. And when your business grows, it means you are able to create a large number of satisfied customers. So in this way, your business is rotating. So first thing that you have to do is ideation. Ideation means thinking about a new product or services that you want to launch. Take for example, Oyo Room. Oyo people when they were Ritesh Agarwal and their team, when they were planning to launch Oyo rooms, they realized that there are large number of travelers who are finding it difficult to find the right place to stay. People wanted a modest accommodation, good accommodation, modest accommodation at reasonable price. There were plenty of rooms, but the hotels were charging little bit higher and people were willing to pay little bit less. There were plenty of properties available, but these properties were not able to create their market. They were not able to create a hotel kind of system. Oyo Rooms immediately thought of a business plan, business idea. The first step in business, starting business, is idea. A business idea, why not? Why not ask these people who have spare rooms to offer Oyo Rooms? And they started planning about it. They started planning about the business framework and all those things. The first task when you are preparing a plan is to think wild, think about different options, those options which nobody has thought so far. In this way, you are able to create a business innovation. Young people are the best in today's world because people of your age are most innovative. Young people are most innovative. You are willing to accept new ideas. You are willing to experiment. You are willing to introduce new ideas. You are the best person to start a new business. So business innovation starts first with a new idea. Then you experiment with the idea. You develop a prototype, sample, take feedback from others, take criticism from others. Criticism helps you in improving your product, improving the minus points of your product. Because somebody is criticizing, it means there is scope for improvement. So you work with that. You work on the feedback received, criticism received, ideas received. You develop new sample, new prototype. You work upon it, experiment. You talk with the new scientists, find out new. Finally, this you have a product or services ready, and then you launch. And then the real challenge is you have to create a marketing team, a finance team, an HR team, and a production team, and you have to coordinate between all of them and ensure that you are able to sell. And when the business starts, rotation of money starts, operating cycle starts, and when the first year is complete, you feel happy. You check what is the total income, total expenditure, is it profit or loss? Generally in first year, second year, you may have loss because you are beginning. But as you grow, you create one very important asset. What is that? That is called goodwill. The most important asset of an organization, most important asset. And as you grow, you keep on piling up to your goodwill. Goodwill helps you generating profit. Business. You have a goodwill, you create new business. Did you read yesterday's newspaper? What was the news about Tata Group? You might not have noticed it. Tata Group is about to make fighter jets for India. 350 fighter jets will be prepared by Tata Group. In collaboration with some multinational companies, Tata Group will be preparing 350 fighter jets for Indian Air Force. That's a good news. That's a big news. Earlier we were all buying Rafale and other, Sukhoi and other things from other countries. And now We should be happy. A company from India, our own country's company, is emerging to manufacture fighter jets. We should feel pride. So Tata Group has created a very important asset. What is that asset? I just told you, goodwill. Their goodwill is so strong, so strong. Everybody can trust on Tata Group. That's why they have always, they have always lived up to the expectations of the customer. They have always created finest products. They have always created the best products possible for the customers. And they have always kept the nation first. You know, when terrorists attacked Mumbai, they destroyed Taj Taj Hotel, which is Tata Hotel, Tata Group of Hotel. When the hotel was destroyed, it was to be repaired. So Tata Group invited tenders, and a number of companies started applying. A number of contractors started approaching Tata Group. So there is a news that two contractors came from Pakistan. They tried to meet Ratan Tata, but Ratan Tata refused to meet them. They visited Ratan Tata, but Ratan Tata did not meet them. They tried to apply for tender, but Tata Group did not accept tender. Ultimately, they met with the central minister. Ministers are very powerful. So requested the minister, and then minister telephoned Ratan Tata that please, these two contractors have come from our neighboring country, Pakistan. Please at least meet them once. They want to construct, they want to refurbish the Taj. And you know, what did Ratan Tata reply? Ratan Tata refused to meet them. He told it squarely that for him the nation is first. He is not willing to talk to a citizen from enemy country. He is not prepared to talk to a citizen from enemy country. No. Nation first. I've read this story. You might have also read this story. We should share this kind of story. Everything that can build our nation, everything that can strengthen our nation, everything that can help in strengthening our nation, everything that can spread positive thoughts, positive ideologies, positive beliefs, everything that can create positive vibes must be shared. We must all share such incidents, such stories. So I was telling you, once you open the business newspaper, you will find many such words. So I just talked about one word, IPO. There will be many such words which you will read for the first time. We will keep discussing about them, because you have to know these things. You have to create them. I told you, IPO. Right now, IPO is a ordinary word for you. But you know, tomorrow means somewhere in future, you have to create an IPO. You have to bring IPO of your own company. Friends, if you decide to become an entrepreneur, I wish you should decide to become an entrepreneur at some stage of your life. You can decide it tomorrow, you can decide it after 5 years, you can decide it after 10 years, you can decide it after 15 or 20 years, but then it will be too difficult. The earlier, the better. Today, most of the startups are launched by whom? They are not launched by people of 50 years or 60 years of age. Most of the startups are launched by people who are just completing their teenage, means they are in 20s, 23, 24, 27, 29, 30, less than 30. Most of the startups today are being launched by people who are less than 30 years of age. What does it mean? You should know that if you decide to launch a startup, this is the right age. You have the right mind, right aptitude, right approach, right frequency. You are the right person to launch your startup. So how do you launch a startup? The steps we were discussing. The first step was idea, business idea. How is your product or services going to hit the market? Why should it be in demand? Why should it be something game changer? Why should it become the most popular one? We were discussing about it. How will you generate the idea? How will you undertake the market research? How will you understand the market? How will you prepare your marketing plan, finance plan, HR plan, production plan? And all these plans will help you in launching your company, isn't it? And once you will launch your company, after a few years of operations, you are in profits. Once you have reached profits, you will think about going for IPO. The purpose of IPO is getting more funds for your business. What happens in IPO? Every person can become the owner of your company. You give them right to ownership in the form of equity share. What is equity share? An equity share means share in ownership, right of ownership. Right now, if you have launched a new company, it is your company. You are founder, you are promoter, you are director, you are managing director, you are CEO, everything you. As the company grows, you have to hire new employees to create bigger teams. And you alone will not be able to finance it, the company's growth. So you will go for IPO. What is IPO? Initial public offering. So how do you do it? So simple. If you launch an IPO whereby you issue a share of 100 rupees and you suppose you issue 100 shares, 100 multiplied by 100, 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees will come to you. Somebody will invest in your company. Somebody will buy some shares in your company. Right? So now out of 10,000 rupees, your own contribution may be very small. Still, because general public has invested in your company. Somebody has purchased only one share. Somebody has purchased 10 shares. So in that way, you may be holding majority stake, or you may be holding maximum number of individual shares with you. Therefore, you continue to exercise decision-making power. Because companies are such, somebody who has got more money, he will become the decision maker. Somebody who has more shares will become the decision maker. Obviously. So all these things you have to understand. And you have to learn how to manage the large companies. That is a very important. Ultimately, It is your responsibility to develop yourself to become ready to head these large companies. You have to develop your skills, isn't it?